Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to another episode of this Piscean Report. So how's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys are having a nice day. For those of you new to my channel, welcome aboard. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. Okay, so I wanted to do a different video today. Last night I was listening to some videos. I was essentially listening to you guys, those of you who have gone online and voiced your frustration with how things are going and how things are working and what's happening. And as I turned it off, when the video went out, I sat there and I thought to myself, what can we do? Like, what can we do? You know, a lot of people are sitting there. I'm trying very hard to keep this right here because old me, regular me, would like to just, run, let it out, and I'm trying to keep this, as professional as I can, as sensible as I can. But anyway, so as I sat there asking, what can we do? Like, what can we do? This is because clearly what's happening in America is wrong on every level, on every conceivable level. And I looked at some of the areas where, certain aspects of our culture or our mindset, I guess is a word I can use, is affecting, kind of almost when they essentially kind of threw us in this situation. But as I was asking myself, what can we do? Because here's my thing. I don't think, and I believe this with every fiber of my being, this is not the time. This is not the time for divisiveness. This is not the time for finger pointing. And I see a lot of that playing out on YouTube. But what we're doing, the divisiveness, the finger pointing, that it's your fault and you guys did this and that happened and this and that and the other thing, is not helping us. It's not helping. Okay? I want to talk about, I'll start with tribal mentality first. I've talked about this several times on my channel, about how tribal mentality is essentially doing us in, in every conceivable way. There was a subject that I was talking about, where it's black against white, or it's, white against Latino, and the whole nine. And then every time I said, tribal mentality is not helping us. It is destroying this country. And I said, okay, first of all, let's start with, let me do this real quick. The meaning, for some of you who are saying, well, what do you mean by tribal mentality? Okay, so, and I pulled it up for you guys. It says tribal mentality refers to a psychological and social phenomenon where individuals demonstrate profound loyalty to their own social group, while distrusting or is excluding outsiders. Okay, and this is the thing that I pulled up here, so this person gets their props. It's from a YouTube video by Kevin De La Plante, Plante, Kevin De La Plante. And so he put down these core characteristics of tribal mentality: in-group favoritism. Oh gosh, stop. In-group favoritism, An intense allegiance with your tribe. Members share strong solidarity, identity, and mutual support. This is the one that hits home in this country the hardest. The us versus them thinking. An automatic bias where the in group is viewed as inherently good, reasonable, and correct. While the out groups are viewed with suspicion, hostility, and inferiority. That is what is destroying our country. That tribal mentality is what got us in this mess. Okay, and it's time. It is time. The only tribe we should have in America is American tribe, the Americas. We are all one people, because trust and believe. In other countries, they don't say African American or Asian American or Mexican American. They don't say that. They just say Americans. And when you go over into another country, you're not broken down. You're into little bits. You're just Americans. Okay? And we need to stop doing that. We the only people who do that, we do it to ourselves. And we're doing it to a detriment. It is destroying us as a people. And I think it is time that we wake up to that and see it for what it is, like really see it. And as I was thinking last night, I was jotting down some things, and we will call them, let's call them the powers that be. Okay, because there's not one person. I had jotted down because I found this interesting, that the almost not even 1%ers, because I said, well, how many billionaires are there in America? And I said there are 930 billionaires, right? Which basically makes up 27% of our country. Such a tiny, tiny, minuscule people are pulling the strings behind the scenes, and they're using us, and they're taking advantage of us, and they're playing on our psyche. In this country, they are pushing the buttons. Because for a long time we sat here and we're thinking that we're running things, and behind the scenes quietly, they're needing this pushed through, this bill pushed through, and add this in and put that in, and they're quietly slipping these people money. Because there's someone who did a video who literally brought that fact home, that when a lot of these congressmen, when you go into public office, I think you only get $100 and something thousand, maybe 137 or somewhere in there, 130, let's say 130,000, but they're coming out millionaires. How is this possible? The less, not even a whole 1%, these people are quietly slipping our congressmen money. I joked about it, and I said it's like an episode of Mr. Beast, where they'll put them in front of a pyramid of money, and they'll say, listen, we'll give you this, and nobody else will know about it. Nobody else will know. All you have to do is just pass this or push that, and we will quietly filter this money into your account. And they say yes. Okay, but we see this now. Okay, there's no conceivable way possible that all of these things are being enacted, and they're just saying okay and yes, and we agree, and let's do this and let's do that. Okay, they clearly are working for that top 0.227%. Okay, they've stopped looking out for us. They stopped fearing us, essentially. Because back in the day, boy, if America found out that a senator or a congressman was doing something foul, they were eliminated immediately. If they were passing something, they would do it on the hush. Back in the day, because they know if they got found out, their career would be ruined and it would be over. And now they just do it, and They're not worried about the consequences, because what are they going to do? What are they going to say? And at the end of the day, even if I do get caught, I'll have all these millions, and there's no repercussion for what they're doing. They feel completely comfortable with throwing Americans under the bus. And enough is enough. Enough is enough. Okay? That's only 31% of the country. And how are we allowing this tiny small percentage of people to just run roughshod over us and just letting them do it and letting them happen? And instead of saying, nope, we're not doing this, and we're going to vote you out of office, and you're done, we need to start standing up. And instead people are going, well, how can they do this? And this is terrible, and why? And this and the other thing. And no, we need to, the time has come for righteous protest. The time's come. Like, why are we allowing this to happen? Okay, we put them in office. We could take them out of office. And that's the problem. Right now, those people in office, they don't have any fear. They don't have any fear of repercussions. They don't have any fear of, doing, because they're like, okay, well, if that's what you say, and I'll be rich, and okay, and I'm going to go for it. And, and they've gotten quite comfortable with that. And now it is time for Americans to start standing up. First of all, we need to eliminate tribal mentality. Okay? And when I say that, I am referring to those who are, the Democrats saying it's the Republicans' fault, and then the Republicans are saying it's the Democrats' fault. We have got to stop. Let go for just a minute of the party lines, because the powers that be are using that. They're using it. They know this is what they're, we'll whisper in there, and we'll just say, well, it's their fault. And then, they start saying it, and they say, well, it's their fault. Right now, we need to not concern ourselves with who is at fault. What happened. Okay? We talked about that tribal mentality. Listen, you guys, we are playing into their hands. By doing this, we are actively playing into their hands. That's what they want. Let's keep them, at odds with one another while we continue doing what we're doing in the background, while we're passing laws, while we're allowing, while we're pushing, while we're poisoning, the citizens to get rich. Let them fight amongst each other. That's their game plan. And we're playing right into it. And we need to stop. Enough is enough. Like, enough is enough. At the end of the day, we need to come together as American citizens. Okay? Let's see. Hang on just a second. Let me just look at it. All right. So there's something that I wrote down, and it is worth saying. It is worth saying, because it is what it is, I want to say this. The people who voted this president in power are not bad people. They were played. Essentially, they were played. Like let's call a spade a spade. They were played. But here's the thing. Like I said, these are not bad people. I know we like to say, those MAGAs and supported people and those Republicans, and they're terrible people. These people who voted this president in genuinely looked at their country, and they saw that things were getting out of control. There were things that are just straight getting out of hand. And the truth is the truth. It was. I mean, for a minute, people were literally running roughshod, just running wild in the streets and doing the most and acting out, and and so there are people who had genuinely good hearts. Let's take their political affiliation just take it out of it. Okay, you got people, decent people, who saw their country changing and becoming something that was damn near unrecognizable, And so they voted out of fear, out of frustration. Why is this happening? Look at our country. It's falling apart, and things are getting out of control, and we need someone. And so here it was, the powers that be, they saw the desperation. They saw the frustration. They saw these people, and they felt their energy. They got it. You know what I mean? They used it. They saw this desperation in these people, and they saw it, and they said, we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to feed into that. And so they found that they got this person. I told you guys, our president is just a puppet. He's a puppet. We need to concern ourselves more with the puppet master, not the puppet. Okay, because they took advantage of that. They put this person up there, and they told him to say this and say that, and it worked. These people voted. They were desperate. Now, really kind of take a step back and look at that. Instead of saying you guys are stupid and y'all are racist and you did this and you did that, kind of take a step back and consider maybe these people voted out of desperation, out of frustration, out of what's happening. This isn't how I saw our country. And they sold them a bill of goods. These people sold them a bill of goods. If you put me in the office, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it sounded good to them. So they voted. And now these people, they themselves, because I have seen online MAGA supporters saying, this is not what we voted for. We didn't want this. We didn't ask for this, because trust and believe, they're getting screwed too. And this is what we need to look at. It's pointless to say it's your fault and you did and da-da-da-da and blah, 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 blah. Because what happened. And now you got people who are saying, this is not what we voted for. This is not what we asked for. We didn't want this, just like you guys are saying, we didn't want this. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. They're saying the same thing. This is not what we asked for. This is not what we voted for. We had a different thing in mind, and they played us. They took advantage of us. They played on our frustration. They played on our sympathies. They used us. They took advantage of them, and they used them. And they made a mistake, and they voted, okay? And so now here we are. But here's the thing. Like I said, it's pointless. It's pointless. What happened. And now we need to now just say, okay, this happened. How are we going to fix this? It's pointless to point fingers. We did this because of how you guys were acting. Well, we did this because of how you guys are acting. And the puppet master and the powers that be are in the background like, yep, let them fight. Just let them fight. Let them keep going. Let them do it. Whatever. We're going to do what we're going to do behind the scenes. And that's what they're doing. And what they're doing behind the scenes is now playing out in our world. And we need to do something. We've got to stop. We got to stop fighting each other and recognize that we are one people at the end of the day. I was sitting here before I started the video, and way off in the distance, I'm looking at this American flag just blowing in the breeze. And that is what we need to focus on. Because, whether you guys want to, right now we're so shocked, we're straight shell shocked at what's happened. How is this happening? How is this okay? Why is this happening? What are we doing? What can we do? Like, we are shocked. None of us expected all of this, but it happened. And here's the deal. We're so focused and shocked on what happened, we're not even recognizing and realizing that the rest of the world is looking at us right now. They're looking at us, and they're seeing, what are they going to do? They got taken advantage of. Their government is screwing them. Let's see how they get out of it. Let's watch. What are they going to do? And instead of sitting here saying, what are we going to do? And I don't know. And what's happening? And this isn't right. We need to start taking up, like I said, righteous protests. More people. And you guys are doing the right thing by going online and saying, this is what's happening in my state. This is what's happening here. This is our prices. This is our gases. This is this. This is that. You guys are doing the right thing by speaking up and saying, this is what we needed. They didn't count on that. They didn't count on Because if you guys, a lot of you guys, I'm listening to a lot of young people saying that there are people saying you just need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you just need to work harder. And that's the powers that be. We're going to say this to them, saying you guys just aren't working hard enough. You're not trying hard enough. Okay, that's what they do. That's what they do. They're playing mind games with us. Well, you guys just need to work harder and and you're hearing more and more people saying, I'm working 50, 60, 80 hours and I'm struggling. And I told you guys a long time ago, these people are the middle class had all the power. And so they're trying to dismantle the middle class. Okay? And this is not going to happen. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. This is our country. We, the people, run the show. The government is starting to think that they're the ones who run the show. And we need to let these people know, no, you guys are not running the show. We're running the show. This is our country. Okay? We need to start taking back our power, standing up. And you say, well, how do you do that? Like I said, we've got to come together as a people. I wrote down, where is it? I wrote down that we need the gatekeepers to tell us what's going on. And you say, well, what do you mean by gatekeepers? Those who have studied political science. I remember saying to myself last night, because a lot of people, I saw a video where people were saying this was a worthless degree. What's the most useless degree out right now? Political science was one of them. But let me tell you something. It's time to use your degree to help Americans. And how do you do that? You guys, those who took up political science, you love politics. You're engaged in that. That appeals to you. Some people genuinely are like, yep, that's the field I want to go in. And that's what fascinates me, how the government works. I had to pull up the different factors or sectors because I had to even ask myself. I said, well, what do those who study political science, do? And for anyone who is white, will kind of fill me in just a little bit more. Political science is a scientific study of power, governance, and public policy. It investigates how governments function, how societies make decisions, why countries adopt different political systems, and how political behavior such as voting and activism shapes the world. These people are these are our gatekeepers. And when I say that, because it talks about international relations, comparative politics, compares our political structures, and development of other countries to understand why some governments succeed while others fail. American government and politics analyzes political processes specifically within the United States, including elections, the roles of the presidency, Congress, the judiciary, and local state government. These are our gatekeepers. If you guys are the ones, we know there's a channel where we can literally watch the government do what they do. Most of us don't watch it because it's it's boring, right? And so, and they lean into that. They know that nobody wants to sit around and watch us pass laws and do this and do that. So the cameras are rolling, but they don't care. And like I said, a lot of those things are done behind the scenes. But if those gatekeepers, those who are into political science, can watch and say, this is what they're trying to pass now, this is what they're trying to do, go on YouTube, let us know, this is what they're trying to do, this senator is doing this and that senator is doing that, and these ones over here are doing this and they're doing that. Because the more of you that come online, the gatekeepers, and say, this is what they're trying to pass, and this is what they're trying to do, and this is where they're going, and this is and this and this, we can say, okay, cool, and start, if they are speaking on your state and you see a senator who's doing something wrong that you don't agree with, that you would never have allowed being passed, they got to go. Write their name down. Next time we vote, we are going to vote based off of you were in there and we saw what you did and we don't approve of that and we didn't want that and yet you passed it, so you're out. Put them out. Look at it this way. They made their millions. They snuck that shit in there and they made their millions. So put them out. Okay, next election. And here's the other thing that I want to say about that. Next time we elect someone, we're going to think different. We're going to think different because, I feel like America has grown up. This election has matured Americans from a political standpoint, because we're not going for political rhetoric where all you got to do is just say the right things and we'll go, yay, and let's do it. No more. No more. If someone comes up and they want to run for office, we're going to ask real questions. Well, if you put me in office, I'm going to, I'm going to say this, or I'm going to, change that. And you ask the questions, how? How are you going to do it? How can you? This one didn't do it. Other politicians didn't do it. How are you going to do it? Show us. And they better have a detailed plan, because anybody can say anything. I can turn around and run for office and say, I'm going to vote. If you put me in office, I'm going to see to it that everybody gets $1,000, every week. And, and everybody goes, wow, that sounds great. And, but anybody can say anything, right? So we know better now. We know better. If somebody says they're going to do something, it just sounds too perfect to be true. How are you going to do it? What's your plan? Show us. Show us. Because anybody can say anything. Well, if you've put me in and I've got a plan to do, really, show us. Where's the plans? Show us the paperwork. Give us detailed facts on how you're going to do that. Where's the money going to come from? You know what I mean? Like now, this year, or the next time we vote, we are going to be smart about it. Gone. We're done with just, saying all those things that we want to hear. Because, like I said, America's grown up. From the political standpoint, we have grown up. And it's like, no. Next time somebody says they want to be in office, what is your stance? And how are you going to do this? And what about that? Ask real questions. We are concerned about our nation's infrastructure. We are concerned about, our healthcare system. How are you going to change that? What policies how are you going to implement change in that area? We're worried about that. The things that we are concerned about, we're not going to stand for anymore. We want answers, and you better have decent, they better straight have an agenda, a paper, and a paper trail, something that says, well, we're going to take this money from here. And I think if we take this money from there, and if we could do this and come together and this and the other thing. Like, they better have a detailed plan. We're not falling for political rhetoric. No more of the flag waving and, if you vote for me, I'm going to make sure this is illegal and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. No. How are you guys on crime? Are you going to be tough on crime? Because we've had enough. We've had enough of the hand slapping and putting people back out on the street. What are your thoughts on that? We've changed. We have grown up as an American, as a society. Okay. And like I said, we need the gatekeepers in place. The gatekeepers' role is paramount, because those who have studied political science, those who are into that, we can use seniors. There are seniors who sit and have nothing but time, and they'll sit and they'll watch those channels and they'll jot down, this one is trying to do this and this one's trying to do that, and they can go online and let us know. And we can be like, okay, let's start writing these names down, because if you're not for us, you're against us, and you got to go. And it's time. This is what I mean. It's time for us to stand up for ourselves. To say, we're not taking this anymore. We're not falling for the BS anymore. No more. No more. And I put that down. MAGA supporters need to come out. Come on YouTube and say out loud that you didn't vote for this. Because that goes a long way. We didn't vote for this crap. We voted for something completely different. We voted because we loved our country. We voted because we were looking for a change, but we didn't vote for this. We didn't ask for this. That goes a long way, And those, We're not going to do this us versus them. I see it all the time. There's a young lady who's a Republican, and she's always shooting down Democrats one after the other, and their belief system and how they work. And right now, this is not what we're needing. We're not needing to shoot each other down right now. What we need to do is instead come together. I saw of some videos where they were saying that black people are like, you know what, y'all made this mess, you got to fix it. You fix it yourself. And because they were saying, why aren't black people saying anything? But here's the bottom line. What's happening is affecting everyone. It doesn't matter if you're white. It don't matter if you're black. It don't matter. What's happening doesn't give a damn about your race. We can all agree that we love this country. And we need, armed with that knowledge alone, I love my country. What can we do? Okay, let's put race to the side. Let's put that us versus them mentality to the side. Let's put political parties to the side and come together as a people and say, we got to change this. We got to change this. This is not okay, because the rest of the world is watching to see what we're going to do. Or is America really just going to roll over and let these people do this to them? They're really going to do that? No, we're not. We're not. We're going to start paying attention. We're going to come together. We're going to use YouTube to help us. Use this platform to help us and say, this one's doing this and that one's doing that, and this one voted this and that one voted that. And we're going to start either write it down on a piece of paper or take a mental note, whatever works for you. And when it's time to go to the polls, if there's someone new and they are legitimately saying, this is what we should do, this is the idea that I have, and it's time. We need people in there who are looking out for us, we the people, not the wealthy, not even 1% of the country, not even the 1%. It's time to say, we the people are not taking this. We're not standing for this. This is horse crap. It's ridiculous. Let's come together. Let's Tribal mentality is destroying us. And right now, we need to get rid of tribal mentality. The only tribe right now we should concern ourselves is with us, American people, we the people. That's the only tribe we need to concern ourselves with. It doesn't matter. When you go to vote, their party should not matter. What someone wants to do, because I'm sure there are some people who are saying, whether you're Republican or Democrat, at the end of the day, they're saying what's happening now ain't right, and I want to go in, and I want to, because if we put the right people in, those who made all these ridiculous rules and regulations and all this stuff can be eliminated. We could take them back out. Okay, we're done. You're good. You got to go. You're killing us. You're destroying us. Whenever elections take place in your neck of the woods, vote them out. Vote them out. Put somebody else in and let these people know we're not doing this. They're getting away with it because they feel like, we feel like we're hopeless and we don't have any power, and yeah, we do. We do. And maybe I'm so sure people are going to say, oh, you're just being Pollyannic and that's never going to happen. And the government and the people have this, that, the other thing set in place. But do you want to just roll over and just let it happen? Or do you want to try? At least try to do something. So the rest of the world can say, well, at least they're fighting. They're putting up a fight. They're not just rolling over and just allowing it to happen to them. And then that's the other thing I wrote down. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Put someone in office, that has full, solid disclosures of what their agenda is. Put them in office. And then I wrote this down. I want y'all to think about those who have fought for our country in the past. And pick a war. It doesn't even matter. The important thing is this: these people fought for our country, and there are veterans right now who fought for our country who can't get health care. They've been priced out of healthcare. I fought. Imagine how they must be feeling right now. This is what I'm saying. We need to really start really looking at this stuff. Like really take this in. These people fought for our country and they can't afford healthcare. There are people who fought for our country that is homeless. This is so wrong. It's so wrong. And what burns my ass is the powers that be don't even care. They don't care. They're only cared about their pocket. They're not cared about these people who have been fighting, and now everything that they fought for, everything that they tried to defend, and the response is to, just, whatever. I'm sorry you can't afford the health care that we charged out the ass for, Oh, sorry. Yeah. We're sorry that you can't afford medication for, to ease your PTSD. We're sorry you can't afford medication or simple things, a wheelchair that you can get around in, one of those electric wheelchairs. Oh, we're sorry, do the best you can. Good luck, It's insane. It's insane what is happening. And this is why I say it's time. It's time for righteous protest. Number one, it is time to let go of the tribal mentality, because there's only one tribe in this country, and that's us. It's just we, the people. That should be the only tribe that we're concerned with at this time. Let go of race, let go of political affiliation, and come together as we, the people. And start making some smart choices. Let's start making smart decisions, okay? And like I said, if you don't have a solid agenda that we can look at, that we, if you're going to get put in office, we want to see it. Give us a piece of paper with what you're trying to do, and then how are you going to do it? Where's the money going to come from? We're taxed out the ass. We're over that. You guys are going to have to come up with something else. Just the idea, everybody is so angry. I mean, there are veterans who fought in this war and they're homeless. Meanwhile, we're putting all this money towards fighting for wars and ridiculousness. It's insane. It's insane. Why are we doing this? That's why I said it's time. Those of you, the gatekeepers, those political science majors, we need you. We need you right now, because not everybody is that person. Everybody has a purpose in this lifetime. There was something. Hang on. I want to give you guys that. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and read this real quick. And it is from The Greater Community Spirituality. And I love this book. I love it. But anyway, there's a paragraph here. It says, you are preparing for nations within the world to meld into each other and for cultures here to clash. And we see it happening right now. We see this happening right now. The future will be strife-ridden and very difficult. We see that. We know that. No longer will nations be able to mind their own business. We see that now. I told you guys, there are people who are watching us, just like we used to watch them back in the day and go, oh, those poor people and that poor. Okay, they're looking at us now. All right? No longer will nations be able to mind their own business and avoid each other. For if one nation fails, others will be impacted. We see that now. We know this to be fact. It's fact. Whatever happens over there affects us. We see that. Okay? If one nation destroys its environment, our cultures will feel the full impact of this. Greater and greater world cooperation will be needed and required. You will not see all of this in your lifetime, for you are in the early part of the transition. But what you contribute here and now will determine the quality of life for your children and for generations to come. Right now, that's why I said we got to start, we got to put our thinking caps on. We got to start coming up with some solutions. We got to start. Gone are the days when we can just say, oh, that's just their problem. Because what happens over there affects us. We see that. And what we do to other people affects us. What they do to us affects us. And whatever we do, what actions we take are affecting not only us, but like I said, our children and generations to come. It's time. It's time. Honestly, it's time for the whole world to really look at that, to really look at what's happening. What happens over there affects us. What happens over here affects them. Okay, we can't, gone are the days, like they said, of us just, ignoring whatever happens in another part of the world. Oh, well, that's their problem. It's not our problem. That's ridiculous. And I also want to say this. A long time ago, I used to hear, I used to believe this. What America does, the world follows on. How do I say that? I'm sure I could have said that better. As America goes, so does the rest of the world. So trust and believe. Yeah, there's a lot of countries that are watching us. Let's see what America does. Are they just going to roll over and take it, or are they going to stand up? Because if they stand up, that encourages us to stand up. If they fight, that encourages us to fight. We've got to show the rest of the world that we're not just going to roll over and take shit. We're going to stand up. We're going to fight. We're done. You're not just going to do this to us and it's going to be okay. So, yeah, that's the video. Is that it? Let me see. Yeah, it said it's go time. It's time for we the people to stand up and say no more. No more. We're taking our country back from these greedy corporations. Because like I said, the rest of the world is watching. So let's make some shit happen. Let's make some things happen. Okay? Let's start letting people see that we acknowledge our mistake and we're going to rally as a country. Forget political affiliations, forget race, and we are going to rally as a people and fix this. And let everybody see that this country is as great as we said it was. We're not just going to let this happen. We're not going to let this happen. We're going to stand up. Them 1%ers need to be afraid. They need to be worried. Because I also wrote down on my paper, third world America ain't going to be like those other third world countries, because third world America has, electricians and doctors and lawyers and we've got very brilliant minds in this country. And like I said, third world America, we know how to get amongst ourselves and start talking. Just like they know how to talk amongst themselves in private, we can do that too. You're not dealing with dummies. You're not dealing with ignorant people. You're dealing with people who are just very upset right now and they're frustrated. But there are some brilliant minds in this country, and don't make us put our minds together. You don't want that. Like I said, third world America ain't gonna be like these other third world countries. You got us messed up. You don't want that. I'll just leave it right there. It's not. I'm just saying. They don't want that. They don't want it. How do people say they don't want our smoke? They don't want it, So, yeah, you guys, we're going to come together. It's time to come together as a people. We, the people, and let's fix this. Let's get in there. This is, first of all, the more of us, more voices. Let's all get online and let's all start talking. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm going through. This is unfair. That's unfair. Okay? And I've seen people with their MAGA hats on saying, this is bullshit. We didn't sign up for this. This is not what we asked for. So you've got all sides standing up and speaking out and saying, that this is not what we asked for, and enough is enough, and we're going to fix it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go. That's the video. I hope what I said hits home. I hope that you guys kind of agree. You know, tribal mentality is destroying this country. It's done. The only tribe should be the American tribe. Period. Period. That's it. Not Black America, White America, Asian America, Mexican America, Italian America. No, just America. Period. Okay? All right, I'm gonna go. I guess I'll see you guys next time on the next video. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.